Welcome to your new Enlightenment Oasis, Blank Enlightenment Radio with Misty Thompson on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Your host, Misty Thompson, joins Dr. Pat and takes you through a journey towards enlightenment. This hit show will help you believe in yourself, knowing that what happens in your life is not happening to you, but rather for you. Gain tools to take this new way of thinking and apply it into your everyday life. By changing your mind, you will change your life. Now settle into where you are because you are in a safe place to learn.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. We are going to kick it up big time, because right now, Misty Thompson and we're going to do something that we talk about a lot. But here's what I want to say. I mean, I'm kind of getting a little teary already.
Aw.
I know. So, connection to my spirit team, part 1.
Yes.
Connecting to our loved ones who have transitioned to heaven. Now, I'm just going to tell you right now, right out of the gate, Misty, you're going to explain this to everybody. But before we get to that, I want to talk to you about you.
Yes.
Your life, what you do, your gifts, your talents, everything you're about has been committed to this show topic, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, of course. Yes. Yeah.
And whether they know you, our listeners, whether you all know Misty, amazing, beyond amazing, whether you know her as a spiritual life coach, angel card reader, intuitive psychic medium, best-selling author, teacher, speaker, one of the things I want all of you to know and fasten your seatbelts about today is that this show is to help us all to move beyond our struggles, move beyond feeling lost, but to also realize, Misty, that we do not have to continue to do things alone.
Of course not.
But boy, do we keep fighting for our limitations around that. So tell us about the team that we got going on today.
Right. Well, I'm sure everyone has heard about, we talk about guardian angels, growing up, we have our guardian angels. Well, I never really realized this until more recently in my work, helping other people connecting with their loved ones. But it has been brought to me that we have a spirit team. And just as you and I are sitting here talking, we have our spirit team that's up in heaven or around us doing the same kind of thing. And they're constantly giving us nudges and guidance on what to do, where to go to help us with our life. But we have free will, and it's up to us to choose whether or not we're going to follow that or not. So, of course, spirit team can consist of course, our guardian angels, archangels, the for me it's God, so others, whoever their higher power is, and then of course the loved ones, our loved ones who have passed. And a lot of times when I read my clients, this could also be grandparents that you've never met, but still we have that spiritual bond. So they're with us, rooting for us.
I got to tell you, I'm here with Linda. I'm here with Linda. Linda, by the way, Misty, is my best friend. She's been my best friend since 1972.
Wow. Yeah.
A year before I actually met Linda, I had heard about Linda through a friend. So I know that that this is probably what, a gazillion past life thingies or something?
Of course. Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I really didn't have parents. Okay. I had a mom who died and at a very young age, and a stepmom who died way before her time. Those two talk to me all the time. But I got to tell you that Linda's mom and dad sort of took me in.
Right.
And I was this really rough 20-something year old, really rough around the edges. I mean, come on. I'm a girl from the Bronx, right?
Right. Yeah.
Homeless at 17. Mother suicide at 6. So
Mhm.
can you tell that I probably was a little bit rough around the edges a little bit?
Right. Yeah. Your experiences, of course.
But I don't know that I would be here today talking with you
Mhm.
if even to this moment I'm still receiving messages from them. It's really the posse, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And it's interesting because we kind of put a limit, our human brain puts a limit on what they can and cannot do. Like, your mother passed away so long ago, and she's definitely with you because, we have that connection, that spiritual connection, no matter what, no matter the situations, any of that. So, yeah, and I do believe, like you said, past lives. I am coming to also realize that we choose our parents. We choose the experiences that we want to live through in this earthly life to enhance our soul, and it makes our spirit wiser. And that's why you can meet a young child and you might think, wow, they have such an old soul. That's because this isn't their first rodeo. They've been through this before. But yeah, I mean, the connection is always there, and we have that bond for sure. And it lasts for eternity.
Yeah. I one of the things that I know we're talking about today is to look at, right, to look at, for example, this spirit team,
Hmm.
and here's the question. Sometimes, Misty, we don't think we have a spirit team.
Right.
Do we have a spirit team? How do we know we have
Hmm.
one? And then most importantly, as we go on today, we're going to meet them. We're going to
Yes.
talk to them,
Hmm.
but they are in our lives for a purpose, right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And, they are, and they give us little hints and guidance. And again, we have free will, but, when someone passes away, I hear a lot from my clients. And even before I started my business, we would talk amongst people at work. You have a dream of someone who passed away. They are visiting you. That is a real account of them coming through. So a lot of times it's through dreams. We get dreams and we have dreams of them. Or sometimes you might be driving in the car and then a song comes on and it reminds you of a past loved one. That's their message to you that they are with you. But we kind of put it off like, oh, that's just a coincidence. That's just that. No, it's not a coincidence. These are little hints and signs that they're with you. In my experience, I have seen that a lot of times loved ones send coins. Like you might be,
Yes.
yeah, you might have sworn that you cleaned off a counter and then you come back later and there's coins. That is a big identifier.
I know.
Mhm.
Joan, Linda's mom,
Uh-huh.
introduced me to pennies.
Yeah.
How
Okay.
many decades ago do I want to go with this? Almost immediately meeting her and introduced to pennies. There's
Mhm.
something about pennies. And anytime we would walk down the street and she'd see a penny, she'd say,
Mhm.
pick that up.
Yep.
Patty, pick that up.
Mhm.
And pick up the pennies. Pick up the pennies. All of the pick up the pennies, all of it. And
Yes.
I got to tell you, I think with that little behavior, I think I bought a dishwasher. I think I bought a washer, a dryer, because I
Yeah,
found them.
of
But
course.
isn't that true? Like when I walk down the street now,
Mhm.
I find pennies
Yeah.
in places. I got up from a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and there were 11 pennies on the table, and there were like eight of us around the table,
Right, and
and
it's like,
11
how
was
did
my
that
birthday,
happen? Yeah.
and nobody saw the pennies. And
Mhm.
then I get ready to get up. So tell me, what is that? What's going
Yeah.
on? How is that the way that folks are communicating with
Mhm.
us?
Well, and for different people, it's different aspects, but a lot of it is the coins, and honestly, I'm not sure why it's actually the coins, but it's just, I guess it's just something because it's physical and it is just a sign that they are with you, and it's their energy bringing it to you. And like you said, I mean, you're able picking them up, now you have money, and it's to help us not only physically to purchase things, but also just as a reminder that, hey, I'm with you. I have some of my clients, they see like red cardinals or birds.
Oh,
And, I live in southeastern Arizona, and that's not really a
right.
common thing to see cardinals everywhere. But they see cardinals. And so for different people, it's for different things, but it just seems like a common aspect are coins. And like I said, I don't really know why that is, but it is. And again, people just brush it off like it's just a coincidence. But if you take the penny and you pick it up and you say, thank you, mom, or thank you, loved ones, the more you do that and the more you acknowledge it, the more it will be brought into your life. So because you were acknowledging it, you were getting more. So that's something to remember. Yeah. And it's just an awesome thing. And then you said 11 pennies. Uh, Also keep in mind that the number 11 might be of significance somehow, some way. For some people it is, some people it isn't. It could have been the 11th month, that maybe it was a birthday, or
It's my
when.
birth date. We're
Perfect.
all born in December.
Ah,
Joan was Joan's December 3rd. I think Karen's the 3rd. I think all of them, the mother, the daughter, the 3rd, and then Caitlin, the granddaughter's December early, and I'm the 11th.
so perfect. That
And we would
exactly.
all gang up on Linda, who's like a triple Virgo.
Yeah. Yeah. So exactly. So like I said, the number is sometimes is significant. So that's why 11 was there. So it could be 11th month, the 11th day, anything like that. So that's another
Wow.
thing to keep in mind. Yeah, for sure.
Well, by the way, this is the first installment of 3 episodes that we're gonna be
Yes.
doing with fabulous, fabulous host today, Misty Thompson, joining us here today. This is Connection to My Spirit Team Part 1. What does it mean to connect to our loved ones who have transitioned to heaven? And by the way, y'all out there, we are taking your questions today. 1-800-930-2819. If you're like me and you're wondering about how these signs, how this amazing energy shows up. This is the show for you. Questions, comments. So, when we come back from break, first of all, we're going to tell you how you can work with Misty directly, but more importantly, welcome to your spirit team and the messages they are sending to you. Are you ready? Are y'all ready to get these messages? Who are the key players? How are they showing up? What are some of the more general signs beyond pennies and cardinals? What else are they here to show us? And some days, what happens if maybe something happens to you that rubs you the wrong way? Is that them too? Yep. Anytime I'm off track, I know that's Joan coming down to get me. But more importantly, it's my mom. They are ganging up on me to stay in line, keep moving forward. 1-800-930-2819. We'll be right back with the show. Hey, everybody. Super good to have you here. Blank Enlightenment Radio, Misty Thompson joining me here today. This is Connection to My Spirit Team Part 1. We are taking calls 1-800-930-2819. Today's show is Part 1. What does it mean as we connect to our loved ones who have transitioned to heaven? What does that mean? What does it mean to us? And what is it that we may be or may want to be more mindful of today about that? That's why we have Misty joining us here today, because Misty, you do this for a lifetime. You absolutely have this sense, right, of what it means for people to be isolated from these energies, but also to connect with them. And
Right.
so this show is really to address all of that. And then later on in the show, We have 2 copies of Top Pick Spiritual Leaders Directory 2018 to give away, and we'll tell you more about that. Um, Sometimes, Misty, I want to ask you this.
Hmm.
Sometimes we all of a sudden have these bright ideas. Or, for example, sometimes all of a sudden unexpected, really amazing things show up. And I know for me, I started to talk to my loved ones that have moved on. I asked them for help,
Hmm.
but I don't know that I knew that they were there. I
Right.
think it was more out of desperation. So I want to ask
Mhm.
you, how do we get introduced to the
Mhm.
key players, our loved ones who are out there? And
Yeah.
how do we have a dialogue with them to get some help for us?
Right. Well, first you have to believe that it's possible. If you just, halfway ask in a sarcastic kind of way, you're blocking the flow of them to come through, the good energy to come through. So you have to trust and believe. And it's just like talking, like you said, you just ask. You ask them for help. And you just like you're talking to anyone else, some people might think it's crazy, but it really does work and they do hear you. The other part to that is really simple. It's just listening. And that may not be necessarily listening with your ears, it's listening to your senses. So you might have a question, should I do this? Should I do that? Give me a sign. Ask for a clear sign. And then notice what's going on in your body. If you have the hair sticking up on the back of your neck, then that would be the answer to your question. But it all kind of, like I said, it boils down to trusting and believing that you are communicating with your loved ones.
Mm,
It's I ask my sister for help all the time. She's the one who guides me to what I'm doing. And even these things that I'm not comfortable with, I'm kind of like pushed in a sense by her. And I trust. And how I know is I get smells. I mean, I sometimes get smells of her. It's really interesting. I don't pick up smells from anyone else like when I do readings, but when it's my sister, I pick up smells and I know it's her. With one of my friends that passed, I hear songs. So just depends. So you have to listen fully with your whole being to be aware of it. And like I said, earlier, the more you believe it and the more you trust it and you follow it, the more you will get. So, and it's just opening yourself to the possibilities that it's
mm,
possible. And again, that kind of goes back to blank enlightenment. It's
mhm,
opening yourself up to the
mhm.
possibilities.
I often think about the fact that um, the loved ones that have moved on
Hmm.
have been trying to get my attention for a really long time.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is, yeah, um, have I heard them speak to me? How do I feel about all of that?
Hmm.
Um, I think that's true. But I also really believe, and I want to ask you about this, that they have been there to somehow hold a hand out and help me along,
Yes.
especially in my life where I've had some really tough times, but also in new ventures.
Hmm.
I mean, I clearly know that what we're doing with the network, that our vision, our mission, this show, Facebook Live,
Hmm.
I clearly know that all of us have gotten some help. It's almost like they got together and they said, "Oh man, this child needs some help. You better help her with
Exactly.
this."
Yeah.
She didn't go to radio school. So we don't know that she knows anything about what she's doing down
Yeah. And that's exactly true. You know, and like you said, like with the radio show, it's kind of like with my sister, I'm being pushed into things that I'm like, I have no clue what
there.
I'm
Wow.
doing. No idea.
Mhm,
But, I know that my spirit team's not going to lead me wrong. And because
mhm,
they see the bigger picture, they
mm,
see not just me, but what's best for the higher good of everyone and everything involved. Whether it's me and myself and my family to my community to the world, it can be that massive. And so they see that bigger picture. And with us, we tend to have our ego and our mind get in the way. Like, oh no, I know what's best for me. But we're only seeing the one little area and um the one scenario from us. We're not seeing that bigger picture.
Mm.
So when you have that decision and you have that free will to make the choice, when you're feeling that nudge to go another way, you don't have to take that nudge. You can go the other direction. And I do feel in the end, you will end up where you're supposed to be. However, you can make it more difficult and go down the bumpy road that's not paved. Or if you listen to your spirit team and just trust it, you can go down this other way where it's a smoother road, less bumps, less potholes. That's how I less speed bumps. Um, but for some reason, we always like to take the hard way. And I think it's because our ego wants to say that, nope, I know what's best. I know what's best. You're not going to tell me. But it goes back to trusting that our loved ones are with us because they are. They truly are.
Yeah, I want to ask you this question.
Yeah.
Is it possible that our loved ones are have friends,
Hmm.
let's say
Yeah.
friends, that
Yeah.
help out? So
Yes.
sometimes we may not get clearly, like your sister may not be the vision or the image or the voice or the sound, right? There
Right.
may be some other unfamiliar energy. Can you talk about
Yes.
that a little bit?
Sure. So the way I visualize it is, say, for instance, I'm not picking up the message. My sister may get with another guide or another person or another entity, and they might get with their spirit team. And then that's where you get coincidences where their spirit team might make a nudge for them to do something that will interfere with me in the physical world, another human. And that's how we can get some of our opportunities come our way. Because if I'm not listening and if it's something really strong that my spirit wants me to follow, they will get to another spirit and then have them get that person involved. So it's really interesting how that all works. Uh, because it is that bigger scale and we kind of put limits on it. And of course with God there are no limits. Possibilities are endless. So, that's how we get those chance opportunities. We've all had them where it's like, I don't know what happened, it just worked out. And that's a couple of reasons why. One is because we followed the guidance of our spirit team and so it was effortless, or it could be that the spirit team was we got an interference from another
Right,
spirit in a
right.
spirit team. Yeah.
Well, the reason I'm asking you this
Hmm.
is there's several.
Yeah.
One is that I made a comment before where I said, and I've got a question that just came in that I was working with here from one of our listeners,
Hmm.
and we'll take that when we come back from break. Well, one of the things was that sometimes things show up that seemed a little wonky,
Hmm.
right? They
Yeah.
seem uh like, wait a minute. I absolutely don't like oatmeal. Why is it we're all sitting around here and everybody wants me to eat this oatmeal?
Hmm.
And we don't really think about it. We don't think about things that seem a little bit odd as perhaps leading to something we're supposed to be paying more attention to. When
That's
we
right.
come back, we're going to be talking. First of all, we're going to give a couple things away. I love that we're going to give away Top Pick Spiritual Leaders Directory. We're going to be doing that. And we're going to tell you about a free download that Misty has put together. We're going to tell you about that. We are also taking your calls, 1-800-930-2819. Not quite sure if there's a loved one out there for you that has something to say. I know for me, this is one of these examples. I had no idea today we're doing this Facebook live show. And of course, we have to get dressed. And I got to tell you that I got all these new clothes now upstairs, right? That Linda, we went to the big sale at Macy's, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I don't go shopping. But here's the question for Misty to answer when we come back. What are the odds, if you're watching Facebook Live, what are the odds that I would pick a color I rarely wear for this show? And the lower third banners for this show are the same color.
Oh, that's right.
What would be the odds that all of a sudden Misty and we got all the color coordination going on, and I end up with this bright pink jacket, bright pink, and all of a sudden I'm looking at the Facebook Live and we got all these pink lower thirds coming in. And by the way, ask me when we come back, how many jackets did I try on for this show before this one, a color I rarely wear, said, wear me? Misty, you're going to answer that. Let's take a short break, everybody. Yep, I'm feeling in the pink. 1-800-930-2819. We'll be right back. Yeah. Woo! Yahoo! Misty, Misty, Misty. Before we kind of, and we're taking your calls here. For those of you out there, if you want to get a sense of, wait a minute, am I connecting to my loved ones? Are there loved ones out there trying to reach me? 1-800-930-2819. But before we get back to our conversation, Misty, how can people find out more about you? Tell us about
Mhm.
the work you do with people, the
Right.
readings you do, and
Sure.
then tell us about the 2 copies of the Top
Mhm.
Pick Spiritual Leaders Directory we're going to give away.
Yes. Well, to learn more about me, you can go to my website. So www.mistymthompson.com. And the work I do is I just help people on their path. So those who are struggling, which we all have struggles in our life, and a lot of people just need to feel validated, obtain clarity with what's going on in their life. So that could mean a lot of different things for different people. It could be grief, it could be connecting with your spirit team, relationship, whatever that is. And what I do is I use different, um, I guess I do different modalities of coaching. So I'm a spiritual life coach, mind, body, spirit practitioner, and I'm a psychic medium, like you had said earlier, and an angel card reader. So those are some of the tools I use, being an angel card reader or connecting with our loved ones, being intuitive. Those are some of the tools I use to help people on their path, to gain clarity, to feel validated in their life. And yeah, so I really enjoyed. I've learned a lot about myself actually too by doing all of this. So it's really, really fun. And I so love helping people. I
Yeah.
love it. It is my passion.
Yeah. And I think you, as well as me, we have both experienced loss of a loved one,
Hmm.
or loved ones. And what I mean by that is, unexpected, so to speak.
Hmm. Yes.
I used to think that there was some family curse that we had because all of the women that I was close to died very suddenly, unexpectedly. My mom, my sister, my stepmom, my mentor,
Hmm.
2 sisters. And I thought for a minute, wow, I mean, what happens to people, that what is happening, right?
Hmm.
And so I didn't, and I don't have the experience of what it means to grow old with a loved one. I don't have that Linda has, right?
Right,
I mean, I
right.
have it with her mom. but I don't know that. And I understand there are different energies.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
so I want to open up the phone line so, Benny, we could give away the first copy
Oh, right.
of the guide. So let's do that. First caller, 1-800-930-2819. But I want to ask you the question I asked before the break.
Yes.
This doesn't happen to me, but one of our listeners calling in from, it looks like calling in from PA, Pennsylvania. And I think it's Jody. There you go. Calling in from Pennsylvania is asking the question, you know, thank you for doing this show. I hear voices quite often, but there is one voice that I hear that seems mean or mean spirited.
Hmm.
What is that? That
Yeah.
doesn't feel like a loved one. Not sure if I should listen. Yeah, I don't know either. But Misty, I
Right.
don't know. Maybe you can help out.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Now, just like with the physical beings, there is evil, and it does carry with the spiritual side. I'm not sure if that entity is evil. However, anything that makes you or tells you things that are negative or wants you to hurt yourself or other people are definitely not in your best interest. Our loved ones on our spirit team are only here to help us in a positive way. So for that entity, I would suggest that you're very firm and you just, if you have to scream it out, say, you are not welcome here, you get out and don't ever come back. And you just be very firm with that. Then I would suggest that you bring Archangel Michael and pray and ask God to surround yourself and the entity with love, because that entity needs love. That's why they're mean spirited. Surround yourself in your house, your area with the loving and protective energy of Archangel Michael. And I would imagine, and I can feel it now, that that energy will be lifted and you will feel so much lighter and brighter. So it's up to us. We have free will. We can choose to let those dark energies in, or we can tell them to get out. They're not welcome. And because we have that choice. So I feel by tomorrow that is going to be lifted. And I'm also asking Archangel Michael to clear that energy as well. And I can feel it's like a vacuum, and Archangel Michael is just sucking up. Now I feel you said Jody, what's their name?
Jody.
Yes. So I feel like Jody needs to bring some more light into the area. I do feel that, and I believe it's a she, so I'm going to say she. I feel like she needs to be a little more loving, give herself more loving energy, because I feel like she might be a little more negative towards herself. And
Mm,
that has opened the door for negativity to come in.
oh,
So I would ask, and you also talked about the pink, and it's really interesting because this kind of falls into that where we're wearing pink. Pink is the sign of Archangel Shamuel, of course,
wow.
part of our spirit team, and that's unconditional love. So I believe we're wearing pink to show not just Jody, but the other listeners unconditional love. And we are sending Jody lots of love. And with that, she will feel more confident and she'll be able to lift that energy. I mean, I can do my part, but she has to be the one. It's her area. She has the free will. She has to be able to release that.
Hmm.
So,
I didn't know that about pink.
mhm.
And thank you,
Yeah.
Jody. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you,
Um,
Jody.
I am
Actually,
really,
Pat, can I jump in here? We actually have a caller with a question for you, ladies.
yeah, Benny, let's do it.
Sure.
Jump
All right.
right in.
Yeah, we'll
Thank
take.
you, Benny.
Yep, we'll take Karen calling in from New Jersey. Karen, welcome to the show.
Hi, Karen.
Oh, hi. Hi.
Oh, sorry.
Hi.
I didn't know you were on the line. My bad on that. How can we help you?
Um, well, I just had a couple friends pass recently. And the day after one of them passed, I felt like I got a tap on the shoulder.
Mhm.
But I don't know if it was my jacket maybe getting caught and hitting me. is there a way to know if it was them or just my
Mhm.
imagination?
Right. And I get this a lot. And like I was saying earlier, when things like this happen, we try to write it off like, oh, it was just something else. It was a coincidence. Now, if you felt, trust your first instinct. So when that happened, you obviously felt like it was your friend that had passed. It was your friend who had passed. Um, I feel that if it wasn't them, you wouldn't have even thought of them and you would have just went on about your business. But if your first instinct was that it was them, then it was them. And you know for sure because your gut tells you that and you have to trust it and believe it for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And can I ask you one other thing?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sometimes, like, I've noticed one time there was a really bad event that happened in my life.
Mhm.
And before I got news of it, I felt like a pressure in my ear. You know how that airplane pressure when you're going up or getting
Yes.
ready to land and you get that
Mhm.
super pressure in your ear?
Yep.
Is that a sign of a spirit trying to communicate with you, or is it just allergies on my part?
Right. That very well could be a sign. I haven't personally experienced any of my clients with that, but that doesn't mean anything. However, for you, I do feel that it was just an allergy or pressure. Um, but I do
Okay.
feel like you do pick up on that energy, so you are right to think of it as that. But I feel like in this sense, it was not like I guess you're thinking like a premonition kind of thing. Now,
Kind of, yeah.
when it happened, did you feel like there was something wrong? Or did you not think about it until after the fact?
You know, the I the first time it happened, I didn't realize it until after the fact.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I
I
feel like
can't say there's been a pattern.
right. Yeah, I feel like if it was like a premonition, as soon as it happened, you would have felt like something was going on, instead of waiting until after the fact. If it's going to happen
Okay.
before, then you would have felt an uneasiness, and you would have just, felt, okay, something's not right, instead of just like, oh, there's pressure in my ear. But that is a good call, and just be aware of it because something like that could be because, we're all intuitive. It's just paying attention and listening to it. So I feel like you are on the right track for sure. But in this sense, it
All
wasn't.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Thank you so
right.
much for taking my call.
You're
Yeah. I'm in
welcome.
New Jersey now for a month. What do you make of
You've been here
that?
for a month?
I'm here for a month. I was actually born in the Bronx and lived in New Jersey most of my life. But what do you make of Misty and I both wearing pink? I'm actually going to post the picture of both of us side by side in pink today. And now with the pink, I don't know who did the lower thirds in pink. That had to be Carter. So, yeah. So, Karen, today is a day for the pink.
I hear you. And you know, it's funny. I went to another funeral last week, and somebody else and I, one of the significant people who lost a loved one, and I were wearing the exact same color patterns, and it was like a fuchsia pink.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness. Yeah, and I,
Wow.
I feel like it's just a sign that we need to give each other and
Yeah.
ourselves and other people that we come into contact with
Yeah.
some extra love,
I agree.
unconditional love. So I'm
Yeah.
sending you lots of love and light.
Yeah. Thank you,
All
Karen.
right.
Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
ladies.
Yeah, you bet. One of the things I want to do, I want to go ahead and skip the break. What a great question, though, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And I think many of us, Misty, we have had situations, right, where things like that happen,
Mhm.
right? I think the thing for me that has happened to me, my friends tell me more time than not,
Mhm.
I get more cracked windshields from stones, right?
Mhm.
The last new car I had, like 3 days after I got the car, crash
Oh
right
no.
in the windshield.
Oh, no.
And so sometimes we get things that happen that maybe are like a tug on the shoulder or wind, but sometimes it can be. It can be like a cracked windshield, right? Or no?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not everything is a sign, and sometimes it's just a cracked windshield. or just a tap on the shoulder. So, but like I was telling Karen, it's what you feel at that moment. So,
Oh,
for me, I have a tendency of hitting red lights all the time. Now, sometimes I don't think much about it, but sometimes as I'm driving and I get red lights, I'm like, "Oh, okay, God, I'm slowing down," because that's a sign for me that I need to slow down, not just driving, but in life.
right.
So, but sometimes I don't think of it, and if I don't think of it at the time, then it's not the message at that moment. So, yeah.
Yeah. You know what I find fascinating about this, now that I even said that about the windshield,
Mhm.
is I went to my dentist before my trip out here, right?
Uh-huh.
I go to the dentist, and the dentist is like, oh my gosh, you cracked another tooth.
Oh, no.
And right? So cracked windshield, cracked tooth.
Cracked tooth, yeah.
So the dentist is like, I don't think you have any more tooths left to get a crown for.
Oh, no.
It's like, what are you doing with what did you chew on? And I'm like, listen, I chew like everybody else. I mean, it's
Mhm.
not like I go and
Yeah.
I chew and I crack my teeth. And the dentist is like, we don't get it because your teeth are really strong. How are you
Huh.
cracking your teeth? So now I'm thinking about this after talking to you, Misty. Maybe we're going to
Mhm.
have to do a sidebar. So the
Yeah.
question is, how do we interpret these signs? How do
Right.
we actually listen to
Mhm.
what's being shared
Yeah.
with us?
Again, it just kinda goes with the gut, you know? For me, even before I was doing this work a long time ago, I would say, "Oh, okay, God, I'm slowing down." So it's whatever comes right to you at that moment.
Wow.
And it's not analyzing it, it's not, um, you know, downplaying it or whatever it is. It's whatever you think at that moment. So I didn't even realize I was thinking it, but I hit that red stoplight and it was like,
Wow.
okay, God, I'm slowing down. And
Wow.
so then as I started learning more about the spirituality, I started looking at my life in general. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that was a time when I was really stressed out or I had a lot going on. But for you with the cracked windshield and the cracked tooth, um, I feel like you have cracks you feel like you have cracks in your life.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like what I'm visualizing is I feel like you don't feel whole in some places.
Yeah.
Um,
I think you nailed it right there.
yeah.
And there are places like that. I do feel like that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's funny that we're talking about this because I'm basically somebody, I love my life. I'm one of these
Yeah.
people. So even though I love my life, that doesn't mean that there aren't places in my life that I don't need to look at. Right.
Oh,
You
of
see what I'm
course.
saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We're human and we have those human experiences and we are a work in progress. So if you didn't, then something would be wrong.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
for you, I just feel like there's
Yeah.
something about feeling whole.
I could tell you exactly what it is now that you brought it up.
Oh,
Thank you
okay.
very much, Misty. Thank you for this.
Sorry. No.
So we are on this journey to complete our technology by next year.
Mhm.
It will literally be something we've been working on in a 3-year cycle, by the way.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm at this place now where it's not that, well, no, that's not true. I'm a little bit impatient. And
Okay.
so in the 3-year process, what I just discovered is we have to go back for this fabulous software and we have to do an upgrade. So here I
Oh.
am thinking, wow, we're on track. We're getting ready to do something to really redesign what podcasting is for the world because that's been our message is to reach more
Mhm.
people. And
Right.
so now I got this little hiccup. I got a little crack in my windshield.
Yep.
And so, what I need to do is just ask for guidance on how to one, either repair that crack in my psyche or
Exactly.
move beyond the crack. Who cares?
Mhm. Yeah, and I think that's exactly it. You have the crack, so it's time to ask for guidance to fill it.
Yeah.
Um, and when you become aware of it and when you open up um, your energy so it can flow, then it will happen. And then
Yeah.
just when you get that figured out, something else will happen.
Well, and so I want to ask you, how do we speak to our loved ones?
Mhm.
And I think this
Yeah,
is confusion for people because we
right,
think we have to have certain rituals. But
right.
how do we speak?
Yeah,
How do we say to them, listen, I really could use your help on this, this, and this? Is
yes.
it that simple?
It is that simple. You
All
just
right.
have to ask. You can do it in your mind. You could do it out loud. The key is be very specific. Because if you just say, I want more money, that's not very specific because guess what? You might find a dollar on the ground. Well, you got more
Right.
money, you know, you know,
Right.
so be specific and ask for clear
Right.
signs.
Yeah.
And then
Like,
also understand that you may not get everything that you ask for
right.
because it's not in the best interest of the higher good. So trust that you will receive and you will have the opportunities that will help you and the higher good. So,
Yeah. I mean, I also find too that a lot of times I get some unexpected good that I
right.
hadn't thought about.
Hmm.
Or, I mean, Jessica just earlier before the show sent me an email about something that neither one of us really had on our radar of really juicy stuff, right?
Oh, good.
And her and so she sends me a message and says, "How does it get any better than this?" And that's
Oh,
really an energy and a flow.
yes.
Um, I want to ask you this: how do people get a hold of you to work with you? What's the
Mhm.
best way to do that?
Yeah. Best way would be to send me an email um, at contact@mistymthompson.com. Or you can go to my website and there is a contact area and you can send a little message that way. That would probably be the best way for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about a lot today. I know this is part one. I know we're
Yes.
going to be doing several parts. Uh, Tell us about what's to come, what's the
Mhm.
vision, and what's your personal message for today. And thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. What's coming up next will be part two, will be again connecting with our spirit team. And it'll be more of the archangels. But as you saw today, it kind of gets intertwined, and that's okay. It's how the message needed to flow. So, but the focus will be on our archangels or our angels. And
Wow.
yeah, so I would just like to tell everybody, because of the pink, I'm going to use that as a sign that just don't be so hard on yourselves. I feel like some of the listeners are having a hard time, which isn't a big stretch, but do not be so hard on yourself. Send yourself some love, be kind to yourself. And when you're kind to yourself, when you love yourself, that opens the door to other people to love you.
I am so grateful for you. Thank you. Thank you, Misty. Thank you for a
Yeah.
fabulous show.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody out there. This is really a powerful message of being kind to oneself today. We do tend to be a bit hard, and I'm really looking forward to the second installment of this. Really getting down with some of these
Yeah.
angels and archangels. So thank you, Misty, for that.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
All right, everybody. I hope you're in the pink today. Yep. Hope you're doing it. This is a bright pink, isn't this? This pink
I
is
love
like,
it.
man, I'm looking at this now on Facebook and I'm like, what the? This is pink. I guess I must have been feeling it. Misty Thompson, everybody. I'm Dr. Pat. Stay tuned. Darcy Pariso coming up. We'll see you next time.